So here I am chatting with Africa's one of the most influential artists. You're a 10-year veteran overall with how you've been doing your mix of Igbo and just Afrobeats and how you've seen everything go from the way it's changed, its evolution, its process. Recently, you just released your previous album, Full-Time Job. You also have your newest single, Back Outside, that just released also. Here you are, the one and only legendary Phyno. It's great speaking with you. How are you today?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good, man.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Recently, right now, you're celebrating 10 years into the game, how everything's been changed for you and how everything's evolved for you musically and how much success you've had with 10 years as an artist, which is a big feature. But how exactly does it feel now looking at that decade-long journey that it's overall just in hindsight for you at this point?
Man, looking back, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. It's been a long road of learning, doing what I love in the process, and God's grace. Still standing strong and making music, doing exactly what I enjoy doing. So looking back then and looking where I am right now and how much I've really achieved throughout the years while making this music is something I'm really grateful for, honestly. Yeah.
How do you feel about the evolution that Afrobeats has seen going from a genre that was only really prominent over in the home continent Africa to now seeing it just take a global, worldwide domination and across all radio waves? You've seen people like Rema, Ira Star, even just Burna Boy take it to a whole new level. How does it feel from seeing, because you've really been one of the pioneers from the beginning of seeing it from the jump. So how does it feel seeing that overall just take over it?
Trust me, I feel so happy because, trust me, it's been a long time coming. It's really been a long time coming. We all knew it was going to get to this point. We just don't know when it was going to happen, but we knew it was going to happen. One way or the other, it was going to happen because we have the most talented people here in Africa, especially Nigeria, right? Musically, like we do diverse music, and a whole lot of people like very versatile. When you listen from the likes of Burna to Reese, Rema, and Rasta, David, like everybody, the way we make music, you can't just box us in the sound and just be like, oh, that's what they do. Everybody's like spontaneous because Afrobeat is like you tend to like take music from other cultures and still add it to what you have and you create something. So there's a whole lot of and one thing about what we make is anytime you listen to the sound that come from here, especially the mainstream sound that comes from here, it's always a feel good time, right? It's always a feel good sound. It's something that you want to play and it brightens up your mood. So we always know if it's gonna get to this point, but we just don't know when. You understand what I mean? But I'm very happy it's happening right now, and it's happening in my own lifetime. So it's something to be proud about.
Now, what I've seen in some genres is either we have a nostalgic callback to certain elements or certain eras in music. I know the Y2K era has been something that a lot of artists have been trying to poke back into, or even just funk disco had a kind of moment when Bruno Mars had his whole Uptown Funk era, 24 Karat Magic. Do you feel that not necessarily a nostalgic callback would happen for Afrobeats, but do you think that it will start to blend and mix with another genre or maybe like a fusion of another? Because I know, like you said, Afrobeats has been a big fusion of everything like that. But do you think maybe that one day would start to be an amalgamation of other genres like jazz? We've seen a little bit of like tints and hints about what exactly it could be with that, or EDM has been another thing as well there. But do you ever feel like it could evolve to something else mixing with?
I think it will. And I'll tell you why, right? I think it will, but be like the sound that you guys know will always be the mother of what comes down. Regardless, it's just like listening to hip hop, and from there you start hearing like funk music, trap music. They're still like babies to hip hop. Regardless, it's definitely gonna happen. Even like maybe listening to R&B, and people are now doing like maybe trap soul or anything they call it. You understand? I feel like Afrobeat is because it's a lot of fusion of sounds, and people are still gonna wake up one day and say, you know what, this is what I want to call my genre. So it's definitely gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen, and I think it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But Afrobeat will always be like the mother of any of those sub-genres that comes out from it, regardless. Yeah.
And then with that being said, with how you now incorporate into your own music, but naturally you originally did an organic Igbo sound and just had more like, some say Igbo rap or just Nigerian rap because it's hard in Nigeria, but then it got labeled and changed into Afrobeat a little bit, but there's still a very traditional sound to differentiate it. Almost kind of like rock and roll and rock music. Like they're in the same boat, but they have a separation to just to be more distinctive.
Yeah.
You feel that in your own music now? You still try to have that true to heart traditional Nigerian sound to it?
100%. That's the only way I retain my identity, right? That's the only way you hear me and you'll be like, yo, this is where the sound is coming from. This is who it is. And I think you got to give a whole lot of shout out to the Latin Americans. They do this a lot. Once you hear something that comes from that part of the world, you definitely know this is where this sound is coming from, because they try their best to retain their sound. And that's what it is. I definitely have to, because I'm selling something. I'm selling my culture. I'm selling my tradition, my fun.
Upbringing too.
Yeah, I have to let you know I come from somewhere, and no matter how much hip hop influences my sound, you're still gonna hear where I come from my sound, regardless. So I'm never gonna switch from that.
To further speak on that, once talked to Fields about this, and I asked him, how does it feel to be representing not just your country or your home, but you also have a continent on your shoulders as well too, kind of like you said. Do you ever kind of feel that there's a pressure to make sure that what you're doing is not necessarily competitive with others, but I would say it's something to upbring with other artists too as well? I can understand the fact that if you're competing with another artist, let's just say it's a friendly competition, like whose song's gonna be bigger or exactly what song's gonna make it more than what you're doing now. But do you ever feel that there's a pressure or an underlying feeling of that you have to prove something when making music, because you have the whole world now watching you and they're not waiting for you to fail, but they necessarily want to see, okay, what's going to be next? Like, where is this going to take? Because we've seen Tylo take it to the Grammys now, or we've seen Davido just take it to a global aspect level.
Honestly, I really love to have fun making music. I understand the competition side of things, right? But a lot of things have changed from what it used to be. You understand? So like right now, the most songs that have messages, right? That have like messages of content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to give to the world or to people, are actually the ones that are less marketed. That's what I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any song, any record right now can be successful, depending on the budget you keep behind the record.
Do you think that comes with not just the content, but I know we've seen it, sorry to interrupt, but you've seen like 2-minute songs take over more than like a 5-minute or 4-minute song now instead, because there's been a change in how people consume music. So do you think the same thing has happened with Afrobeats as well too? Because over here in America, a 2-minute song could be the number one song in America, but over in the motherland, it could be a completely different aspect. I'm not too sure exactly what the chart.
Trust me, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. That's the era that we all find ourselves in right now. So it's totally different from what it used to be.
Now, do you find that easier compared to when you first started now?
Well, it's easier when you want to make songs with no content. You can't pass a certain message. Every song is not gonna be a feel good song or like a TikTok worthy song. You understand? Sometimes you want to make music that speaks to people. It's very hard to do that in just 2 minutes. You can make a feel good song and maybe cut out like the best 30 seconds in the song and make it go viral on TikTok. And that's what it is. It can be the number one song. But also some people want to make conscious music. Some people want to speak to people with their music. You can't just make that in 2 minutes. So what I'm trying to say is that and the real content in the music, the real messages in music, they start being worked out down because everybody's looking for a hit. And also these hit records are now, they almost just depends on the budget behind it, right? Like how much you are willing to like push and put in on influencers on it and stay on a record for how long, while radio and all. You understand what I mean? Before, so that's the era we find ourselves, right? I'm not saying it's bad, it's not bad at all, but that's the generation we are in right now when it comes to music.
And then when it comes down to what it is now and to where you see yourself going with it, do you have any plans or specific ideas that you have going in for like 2025 that's coming up soon now? Because we're rolling up into the new year, but do you have any ideals that you want to do moving forward in terms of like how you want to make your music and what you want to go about for audiences?
I mean, I've been doing this for a while. My fans know what I do, the kind of music I make, and yeah, there might be a little bit of adjustment here and there because I still want to get new fans regardless, right? But I'm not gonna lose myself, right? To get new fans. No.
Yeah,
So
you're not gonna succumb to the industry's this is the only way to make it, or this is your best way to make it. You're still gonna do exactly what you started with.
exactly. But also that's the need for collaborations too. Even like in the new project, I did some few collaborations with like the new guys. So when you do that, they have their own understanding to music. I have my own understanding to music. When you bring it together, you guys can create something magic. You understand? You guys can create magic definitely. That's where I think I am right now. And like just blending what I have from my own time and what they have from this time, and just make something that is amazing, you know?
But speaking on the collaborations you worked with for this past album, full-time job, you have a good amount of between the new and the old, the balance between like you've got rappers like Chip and you've got Burna Boy on there, you've got RD and Fave and Check. Was it ever like a crash course of learning new things and just giving advice to them and also you getting advice from them too as well? Was there anything that you learned that they gave you or anything that you taught them that they took away from it?
100%. So I love learning a lot, right? I love learning, and I'm always open to share knowledge with people. If you want to listen to what you think I know, I can still tell you what I know. If you want to learn and benefit from it, but I'm always paying attention because I want to learn new things. And being in the studio with like the new guys and artists like Faith, the way they make music and their own understanding to music is totally different. It's totally different, but it works for them. How they write music is totally different from how I write music. It's just, you just have to pay attention because it's a learning curve. So you just have to pay attention and be like, okay, so this is what it is right now, and this is what right now, regardless when it comes to this type of music. When I'm back to making what I love to make and how I make it, I'll probably be back to what I'm doing, right? But if I'm coming to your territory as an artist, I have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
That's the collaboration. Just have to bring what I have, but let's do what works for you. So that's the whole. I mean, it's good. It was good recording the album. I learned a whole lot of things, definitely.
Was there any specific or major takeaways that you now do that stick with you that you learned from them or that anything that you now do differently from what you worked on in the album? It could be like a writing technique or producing technique or anything that how you finish a song or look over it.
So honestly, one thing I think I learned was just keeping the music short. Honestly, if I know how to make a song a minute and 30 seconds, I will do that. As long as it's not a conscious music.
Well, how does it feel to do that when now doing that? Because
Yeah, because I'm from the era where we make at least like
4 minutes, 5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes is even a little bit pushing it too.
exactly. But now, if a minute and 30 seconds, 2 minutes. If sometimes when the song gets to 2 minutes, they tell you too long, and you're like, "Are you serious?" Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, verse, chorus is pretty much it.
Trust me, that's what I learned. That's like the major thing I learned while making this project. So I tried my best to like keep it simple.
So when it comes down to that, do you think you'll still do both? Because I mean, the ball's in your court, nonetheless, of how you want to produce the music and put it out there exactly. But do you feel that you're still going to give every now and then like a longer song to like where if it feels right, if you have a conscious message to speak on it, of course, or do you still kind of feel that with the way it's going, let's keep it a little bit shorter, but let's just maybe improve on these aspects or make sure that these lyrics are still here focusing on this?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm still gonna make like longer songs, but those have to be like songs I'm making from how I make music, right? From
Yeah.
exactly like my type of stuff. Like maybe I want to rap or maybe I want to talk about something. I can make music that is like conscious and I want to pass my message out there. I don't want it to be short and I haven't and I'm not yet done writing. You understand what I mean? So I would want to spit out my heart, just make sure that I pass the message completely. And yeah, the good thing is that such songs can just be like a part of the album, right? What you listen to, but that they're definitely not gonna be like the songs I'm gonna push.
Mhm.
Be like the major single in the album, though.
So when it comes down to what it is you want to go to see from the next 10 years, because you already have your veteran status, you've done this a long time, you've reached the unk status of the Igbo rap and everything like that. Now, what exactly do you want to see in the next 10 years of yourself to put out? Do you want to see 10 more years of just putting out a new kind of genre, testing something different, working with more of the newer generation? Do you want to focus more on the touring? Like, what exactly do you want to have 10 years from now? And then what exactly do you want your legacy to be after? Because 20 years is a pretty long time. That's a fair career in anything at that point when you do anything for 20 years. But what do you want the next 10 years to be like? And then what do you want it to be when it's all said and done?
Honestly, I want to do this as long as I can do this, right? I know probably that's going to get to a time where I won't be as consistent as I am right now. But then again, like this is something done almost my whole life, right? I started off as a music producer. I wrote for a whole lot of people. Then I started making my own stuff. You understand what I mean? So this is something I've done my whole life, and till this day, I still enjoy doing it. So I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna retire like in the next 10 years. No, I enjoy doing it, but I know that there'll definitely be a time where I won't be dropping album like every year, every 2 years. No, you understand what I mean? I already know that the legacy will always remain what it's always been, which is I just want to be the guy that everybody knows that sold this culture to the world and like represent something, represent like my people, my tribe, the Igbo culture, like, and that's what I bring to the table, right? The guy that made amazing music from his rap song to like singing and that broke the barrier with the language regardless, right? You listen to my songs and you're like, okay, even though I can't hear what he's saying, I still feel the music because that music, you don't need to hear the language to feel it most times too. So that's really what I want my legacy to be, regardless. And let's see how long I can take this to. Honestly, I just don't want to say some things, but let's see how long I can take this.
No, you're absolutely right. I get it because any like shows people watch, the good show must come to an end, and you don't want to like be like The Simpsons and you start cranking out a bunch of episodes. And no disrespect to the people of The Simpsons, but after a while, you're gonna make something bad. You're might gonna put something out. You're like look back at it, and you're like, well, that wasn't the best. And there's also some artists that are gonna be that legacy acts. There's some artists that will keep going till they finally. There's no retirement to them. They just would tour and perform, do shows, and keep it that way. They may not touch the studio, but they're still there.
Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna be that type of artist, right? Because apart from me, like I mix a whole lot of genres, right? There's a genre of music called the highlife music in Africa, right? I do that too, right? You have legends like Sadebe, Morocco Maduka. Do you know a Nigerian artist called Flavor? He does that too, and like I do that too, because that's like the music they played in the community where I grew up, right? It's a high life influence community, so like I do that. So those are music that can last a whole lifetime. Even if I'm 70, I can still be performing high life music because that's what. And I still go to talk to this day, and I perform my high life music. They have like a whole lot of high life fans. You understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's like the kind of I just don't want to count myself out on what if I'm not strong enough to make music, fine, right? But
Yeah, that's just physical.
that's what I do this as long as I can do it, honest, because I love it, not just because I have to. No, I want to do it because I love it.
And then speaking into that, with how you're speaking like high life is a genre in Africa, because I guess you could say it is, but Afrobeats is kind of like the pop music right now to the continent of Africa. Like right now, that's like their like pop music. Do you feel like there's other genres that are growing that maybe people don't recognize enough that deserve more spotlight? Like you said, high life, for example, is there. Palm wine is kind of another thing. Soca, Fuji, and such and such. Do you think that there's any ones that may not be the next Afrobeats, but are definitely going to be something that more people will gravitate towards and start to look more into based on how it goes, considering that it's going to just keep going bigger?
Trust me, a lot of styles have already come out and they are big that are not high life music, but because it came out from Africa, people called it high life music. I'm sorry, like people call it Afrobeat. Afrobeat.
Yes, they just give it the umbrella to.
Yeah, everybody just calls everything that comes out from Africa Afrobeat. Trust me. Some high life music has come out and big. Asake doesn't really do high life. Asake does like a Fuji fusion. Why do I keep saying high life right now since I mentioned it? Asake doesn't really do Afrobeat, right?
Yeah.
He does like Afrobeat, but like fusion of more Fuji music and stuff, right? But everybody calls it Afrobeat, right?
Yeah.
People like my record, yeah, people can call it Afrobeat if they want to, but I think it's even leaning more on Amapiano fusion, like the Dubai song with Burna and all that. Everybody calls it Afrobeat regardless. Amapiano is doing good. That's not Afrobeat. You understand what I mean? Like a whole lot of, but I noticed that everybody calls everything that people call everything that comes out from Africa Afrobeat. I don't think that's right. A lot of genres have been popping out here and there.
Do you feel that you want it to specifically be referenced as that though for your music, or do you feel like Igbo rap is where you want to keep it whenever anybody like, I don't want to say introduces you personally, but maybe when it comes down to like when you get your music recognized, what do you call it preferably?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it. I just make music just because of I just follow my heart and if I get inspired by a certain genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do that. But yeah, I think I might call it like maybe Afro highlife or Afro rap, something like that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Afro, because I know I lean a lot to the highlife music too. You understand what I mean? I think I can name that like maybe Afro highlife or Afro rap highlife, something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you're an artist. You're not supposed to be boxed or labeled in like for only one. So you're not going to have one thing.
That's something I don't like. I don't like being boxed at all. Because I used to be a producer, like a full-time producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know how versatile I was as a producer. I produced all kinds of genre of music, from hip hop to R&B to highlight music to everything. And the same thing goes to my writing as well when I write music. So I just don't want to be blocked doing what I love, you know? So yeah, that's even if you listen to the album full-time job, you will realize, okay, like I started off rapping, but I have like some amapiano songs, some Afrobeat songs, the songs that I sang, the UK bounce songs, different stuff. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And no, power to you. Like as an artist, as you should only make exactly what it is you choose to make. And if you like it, that's all that matters. It comes down to the end. If the audience of the fans like it too, +1. But at the end of the day, it comes from you and what you enjoy, what you want to make it as, and where you go from there. Power to you altogether. It comes down to just the overall music that you have from the eastern part of Africa and Nigeria. You've got a lot of names that stem from there and a lot of artists that have come from that area and what they've done and how they've made just overall trailblazing moments and aspects to give people like other reasons to get into Afrobeats and just African music and anything of that nature. How exactly was it for you from where you came from into that part in that area?
Trust me, when I look back, when I was coming up and right now, it's something really special. The guys down there are doing like a whole lot of things special. The artist I mentioned before, Flavor, that does highlight music, he's like one of the pioneers out there. Like the guys leading the line right now when it comes to highlight music, and that's like a major genre down there. One special thing about the eastern part of Nigeria too is that they do hip hop music, right? That is gonna blow your mind. Trust me. Like
They have like a certain era or not maybe era, but a certain subgenre of hip hop, like is like snap and crunk. Is it boom bap? Is it anything?
I think so. They make a whole lot of. I don't know. Like when I was coming out, I make a whole lot of hip hop music, right? Like real hip hop music. But the guys coming out right now, they make a whole lot of drill music. They call it like
Igbo drill.
You need to check it out. Trust me, you need to check it out. Have names like Jerry, Aguero Banks, Cola Boy, like a whole lot of them.
So is it taking drill elements and then just the top? So it's drill production, but Afro and just African music, like lyrical themes and such, and you have that kind of the sound and the
real drill production. But when you listen to it and the way the flow on this beat is crazy. Like it's really crazy. The way they flow on this beat, their lyric, the flows, the cadence on the beat is no. They are really doing something special that when you hear it's gonna blow your mind.
When it comes down to it, then what exactly do you see being the next? I don't want to prognosticate too much onto certain artists exactly, but I guess in this case we might as well since we're going to that. But who do you see really taking the new wave and the new generation of where African music is going to be at? Where do you feel that there's going to be a new set artist that people should start listening to more of? Aside from the sound, like you've been saying, but is there any artists just in general that you feel are going to be like, this is going to be the next guy, or these are going to be the next guys, or these are going to be the next girls that make sure that this will be the next big three exactly?
Okay, I mean, you guys already know Rema Rasta, so I think they are big already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's this kid called Afrobeat. He's amazing.
Is he same tale, like kind of like doing producer first, worked his way, or is he like going straight into singing or saying to like?
No, he's singing. I think he just dropped his project.
Okay.
And but you already know Check that was on Back Outside.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of new guys. Um, there's this guy that dropped his project. You need to check it out. His name is Luna. He's really amazing. He has a solid project. There's a new guy again. I think his name is called Paula. I listened to him. It's super good. You already know Faith.
Yep.
She dropped that project as well. Faith is amazing. Faith is really amazing. There's another kid called Ayumat. It's good. Super good. You already know Check. That the one I've turned Back Outside is super good too. So like that, these are like the new wave of artists that are gonna come out and do something great. There's another guy called, I think, Tate or something. He's really good too. Then the rapper guy I told you about, Jerry kind of go bands. Both of them are special too. Trust me, but they rap.
So it's more like it pays homage to rapping more than it is to like the singing and overall melodic blend to it, you would say.
Well, some of the artists that I call, most of them sing too. But
Okay. Yeah.
Jerry kind of go bands for. But like these are like the new wave of artists that are gonna like do something special in the next 1-2 years. You understand what I mean? Like every artist I mentioned right now, they've been, I've been watching their come up kind of. You understand what I mean? And they've done something special
Mm-hmm.
in the last 2 years, like between 2023 and 2024. They've solidified something. They've done something special, and I know like maybe in 2 years to come, maybe next year they'll take the whole world by storm. Definitely.
It's amazing. And honestly, it's like you can only hope and see that the new wave is definitely going to not just
Yeah, man.
carry the flag, but also it's carry the torch too into something that you're going to see more of. So it's obviously going to be a great thing to see from like just the audience aspect on my end. And I guess from your aspect, from the artist who's now seeing the growth and change of how it's been going.
Yeah, definitely.